All right, good. Yes. So now it's streaming as well. Oh, and I'm sorry, I hadn't even checked the public chat. Ramona said good evening. Beth says hi in the chat. Amir sent the link. Hi, Paul. Paul said hello. He's risen. Says I'm on. Yeah, Amir. Okay, yeah, and Amir's working on his audio, so he'll be with us shortly. MJG, hey, while we're waiting, did you hear the allegation of voter fraud in adults in nursing home? I did see that, yes. Oh, okay. Are we back? Now, Amir, you don't have me as a mod, though, so I can't really do anything. Can you all can hear me, though, right? Oh, actually, never mind. I'll check it on my phone. Let me make sure that the audio on my end is, or that you can hear me as well. We were just having a difficult time hearing Amir. Okay. Yes, you can hear me okay. But yeah, Paul, I had heard that. The allegation of voter fraud in the Dalton nursing home. Yeah. Has anyone been able to get proof of it? I think Keith Price shared it. Were we able to get hard proof that actually happened? How's the election going? We can hear. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going okay, right? I mean, did everybody vote? I am going to vote tomorrow. I did not vote early this year. Usually I do, but yeah, I would be curious to know if there was any hard proof about that allegation of voter fraud in adult nursing home. And if you hadn't heard, what they were saying is that, or what I think Keith Price reported was that allegedly one of Napoleon's people sent someone in who was impersonating a staff member, and the staff at the nursing home found this impersonator was helping quote unquote the elderly people to vote there, which would be, if that were proved true, I mean that would be highly illegal and unethical. So I would be curious to know if there's more proof of that. It sounded like in the post that I saw there was one eyewitness, but I would hope that they would first of all report that to the Board of Elections and also come forward and tell us, and if they have any photos or videos or any other proof, because that is a serious allegation and we need to be able to look into that. So I just wanted to, okay, oops, Paul responded, okay. There was an employee of Aperion as a witness. It was reported to the Cook County Clerk and County Sheriff. Will there be an investigation? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that it was reported. That's a great question, though, as far as will there be an investigation? I don't know. Napoleon canceled tonight's township board meeting to avoid any controversy on election eve. Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Paul. I didn't know. I had decided not to cover it because there's just too much for me going on. I know All McHugh had another meeting to cover. So yeah. Amir, can you hear us though? Like when we speak, you can hear us okay? Can you hear us, Amir? Okay, maybe he can't even hear us. Let me ask him. I'm just going to ask him if he can make me a mod, because then I can share comments at least. But in the meantime, let me see if it will let me share my screen. Oh, thank you, Paul. They rescheduled it? Okay.
Can you hear me, Ryan?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you fine. Although there is an echo, Ramona, so you must have, something must be on somewhere that's giving an echo.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, I can hear you and see you. Amir, can you hear us yet? Poor Amir. Because Oh, I heard something. Say something, Amir. No? Oh, okay, that was on your end. Hey, no apologies. So Township Board meets 318. Let me just call Amir and ask him if he can maybe put me as mod too, because I want to share that so everybody can see. And I will write that in my calendar. So in the meantime, Amir's coming. He's just working on his technical difficulties. I can't put it on the screen, but Paul just said Township Board Wednesday 318, this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Oh, that's our second board meeting night. Well, shoot. Okay, well. Okay, all right, well, in the meantime, I will pull up my video that I made. But yeah, how are you doing today, Ramona? Oh gosh, it is a great day to stay inside, isn't it?
It was. I'm doing great.
This weather, I had to go out to do some things, and I was like, ew.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ryan?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, no, I didn't go out today. I'm like, oh no, this weather sucks.
Have to safe at home. Yeah, no apologies, Paul. Did you guys have to go out today? And we have to go out today? I did, but like I said, luckily it wasn't all day. And remember, if nothing else, guys, please remember to vote. Try to inform yourself as much as possible. We'll be talking about different candidates tonight, hopefully. And the last day to vote is tomorrow. That is election day. So please do participate in democracy. Oh, Beth, you said you took care of a few items today. Okay, now if it will let me share my screen, let me see if it will allow me, because then I'll share this video. Whoops, whoopsies. Get that out of there. Okay, I shared it. Oh, okay, it won't. Shoot. We could have a discussion. Well, Amir could add, if anybody else wants to come up, the link is in the chat. While Amir's kind of working through his technical difficulties, if anybody else wanted to come up, because it won't let me. I just can't. I can share my video or my screen, but it won't let me add it to the stage. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm sorry, Amir, that's happening. Although, if necessary, Amir, I can always open it in my, in my studio and have you guys there. Yeah. Oh no, I would. I'm actually. I'm trying to get a hold of Amir right now to ask if he can make me a mod, because unfortunately I can't do anything if I'm not a mod. But yeah, I finally made a video telling people not to vote for Monica Brown, Aira, I think is her name, Sepulveda, and Precious Brady Davis, the 3 MWRD commissioners that voted to displace our residents. I'm like, let's not have a short memory now, people. When people betray us, we have to have a long memory. Because of course they want to be elected or re-elected, and I'm like, oh no, you don't. Yeah. Let me try to call Amir again. Did you vote already, Ramona?
Yes, I did. I did early voting.
You did? Hey, Amir. Oh, yeah, I know. I still can't hear you. I just wanted to see two things. I was going to say, if I can host you on my StreamYard, if you think that will fix the problem. or also in the meantime, if you make me a mod, I said, I can add people, on or like share my video, but it really won't let me do anything since I'm not a mod. But what do you think? What do you think is the issue? Do you think it would help if you come on if you came to my StreamYard or no?
So Ryan, are you still hearing the echo?
No, I don't hear the echo now, but
Good.
we can't hear you on the live though, Amir. Not yet.
Well, I had my Bluetooth on and I turned it off. I don't know if that was the echo or not that you were hearing.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool. Let me take a look. 1 sec. Oh yeah, that's how I got there. I clicked on the link you gave me for tonight. Yep. It's shared, but I'm just saying, like, do you know what I mean? Do you want me to actually go into my StreamYard to do it there? Because, like, in order to participate, though, I'm still in your StreamYard. You're like, you know what I mean? I'm still like a guest on your show. Yes, I think so. Yeah, which we could do, but it's up to you. However you want to do it, or maybe if you make me a mod, at least I could play. Like I said, I could play a video, or I could let other people on stage. But we also want you to participate, Amir. We don't want you to be left out. That's okay. Well, why don't you just send them over to mine? Yeah, I'll do that. Yep. Okay, I will do that. Just give me a second. I'll set it up and then I'll put the link in there. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, so I just talked to Amir, and yeah, he apologizes. He said, I've never had this problem before. So I'm just going to set up a StreamYard in my StreamYard, and then I'll put the link in the chat. So you guys don't have to worry. Everybody will just come over there, and hopefully that will fix the problem. So I will just do that real fast. But yeah, whatever you did, Ramona, no, I don't hear the echo anymore. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing, like Martha would say. Okay, so we'll do a create, boom, bitty boom, bitty boom. And then actually what I can do is copy this that I already copied here. Yeah, sorry, bear with us, guys. Don't leave us, don't leave us. We'll get it fixed. And man, I have a taste for like, I don't know what, sandwich, pizza. Okay, this is good. Save. Okay, hey everybody. Okay, so I am trying to, went live on mine now. I'm live on my channel now, and I'm going to send you guys the link. But it might not be showing up right away until I disengage from this one. Okay, so this is the backstage link. Okay, guys, and then give me a second, and I will try to get the actual, just plain old YouTube link. Let me go to my channel. Let's see if it's showing up there.
Testing, Ryan. Can you hear me? Test. Ryan.
Yes, I can hear you. Are you on?
Okay, don't do it. Let's just stay here. Don't do it.
Oh, you did it. Okay.
Yeah, cool. I don't know what's going on. It might be a computer issue, but I know we lost. We gained some people, so don't even worry about it. I'm sorry about that. I just had to reconnect everything or disconnect everything. So we're good. We're good.
Yes. No, you're good. Yeah, exactly.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do the agenda. I'm a little, yeah, I don't know what happened, but we're not going to worry about it. Is my audio clear? Is my audio clear? Okay,
Yes.
so let's do this. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to share some images and we're going to get started right away. I apologize. Sometimes with live streaming, there is a technical barrier that we have to get across. I've never had this in the 200 things, but let's go ahead and not even make any excuses. We'll go ahead and get right to it. Let me put up the first image, and I'm going to be a little slow because I got to run backwards. So here's the thing. We'd like to welcome everybody to the community conversations with the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. So I would like to welcome everybody, all of the moderators, everyone from the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. It's great to see you guys. Let me go ahead and remove that. I had a lot of things set up, but I'm going to try to do it as quickly as I can, just for the purposes of time. So basically,
okay. And don't forget, I have that unique and that video up as well. If you need me to share that while you're
you can, but let's do it. Let's get the agenda down so we can go by Robert's rules. And we don't mean you, Paul Roberts, but you are welcome. We will go by. Actually, there's something in that, Paul, so we'll wait for you. I just wanted to go ahead and get this started. So let me read the mission statement because I think that was first on the order of agenda. And then everyone, Paul, can you just do a sound check real quick for me, just to make sure? Is something wrong with your sound, Paul? Give me 1 second. Paul?
I'll put it in the chat. Paul.
Okay, while we're waiting on Paul, I don't know, it might be technical difficulties, guys, because I couldn't even, for some reason, and you guys know it. But anyway, let's go ahead and go with the agenda and we'll work out the bugs while we are recording live. So let me go over the mission statement of the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. And here's the thing. This is our first meeting. We will have a monthly meeting every second Monday of the month going forward from here. So what I want to do is, let's do this. Let me just give it the proper setting real quick. And I think the other one was better, right? Probably this one. So the mission statement for the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee is we're dedicated to championing transparency and accountability and the fundamental rights of every citizen, every resident. We are existing here to bridge the gap between the government and the people in the community, between the local government and the people in the community. I wanted to say that twice. Our job, which is what we've been doing in a small dedicated group of our activists in the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, is defense of civil liberties, rigorous financial oversight in a lot of the communities. We are here to not be an arm of the political government, the local government, but we are here to be a accountability from the community, to be the voice of the community, if that makes sense. And we are promoting ethical leadership by fostering community-rooted action, bringing a level of diverse voices and informed advocacy. We just want to simply empower the citizens to demand excellence and integrity from the public institutions that are represented in their community. So that is our mission statement, if that makes sense. Some of the core principles that, since we started this over several months ago, we haven't even been around for a year. And I'd like to commend every last admin, commend every last moderator, commend every last person, because we've been doing the core principles. One of them is financial accountability. We've asked for audits in some of the communities that were questionable. Even some of the membership have dedicated themselves to asking for auditing in the township. So this has been over the last six to 7 months that we've been in existence. Right? Civil protection. And I'm going to ask you guys to chime in. Standing as the bulwark for the First Amendment rights and legal standards within the local justice system. If it's Harvey, if it's Lansing, and obviously the township itself. It's all about financial accountability. I just want to say real quick for the folks who don't know, the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee is Thornton Township. What are those communities? Blue Island, Burnham, Calumet City, Dixmoor, Dalton, East Hazelcrest, Glenwood, Harvey, Hazelcrest itself. East Hazelcrest and Hazelcrest are two different jurisdictions, if you guys didn't know. Homewood, the northeast half of Homewood. It doesn't encompass all of Homewood, just the northeast half of it. Lansing, it doesn't encompass all of Lansing. I think, Paul, you're from Lansing, just the northern half. And Markham is the eastern quarter of Markham, closer to the area that's adjacent to Harvey, Illinois. And it doesn't go the other part of Markham, which is closer to Posen. We don't cover aspects of that area. Phoenix, Posen, and Riverdale, the southern half of Riverdale. So this jurisdictional map has changed over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But South Holland, let's not forget South Holland. So, just an update. Now, you don't have to be a member of the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. You don't have to live in the community to be a leader of, to be a member of our organization or the structure. But what we are asking ultimately is we're asking for folks to just pretty much, just bring positive information, oversight, the review of oversight, anything that troubles you into the situation. I think we lost Paul Roberts too. If we can get him back, that would be great. So if somebody can text him, definitely need him to come back in. So I would like to say that, we are experiencing a growth level as opposed to some of the organizations who are outside of our organization, outside of our structure. Similarly suited social justice or social organizations in our community, we've grown quicker than they have. And the reason why is because we are on the ground, boots on the ground, and we've done a good job with communicating and sticking to that mission statement, right? So let's do this. I want you guys to bring to the table different things going forward within the next quarter. So we have an opportunity starting in the spring, starting in April, the next meeting, to really look at some of the legislative problems, some of the legal briefings, things that we can do. We don't really have a lot of that. I will have an update for you as far as things that are impacting our township. Some of the members bring federal and national information to the fold. That's fine. There's no problem with that because we are in a news cycle that's a heavy federal news cycle, right? But our initiatives and our reports and our core values all are generated from Thornton Township. So what I would definitely like to say is, with that being said, let's go ahead and take the discussion to the next level of where we're at and some of the initiatives that we are discussing. I do want to say that we are missing a few people. There are a few people online. So if you are online and you want to come and be a part of the conversation, I did put the link on the Facebook page that you can join. But I also would like, you guys to come and bring that information and whatever you have. There is a session for open forum that you can participate in. Let me see if it'll also allow me to post the agenda. I kind of posted the agenda to kind of chop-wise in the chat room so you guys can keep pace with me. So, here we are. And, I'm gonna go through this as quickly as I can. I won't bring it all up, but I did post the agenda. So if anyone wants to be able to participate in any part of the agenda to discuss it, we'll talk about that. So with that being said, at the end of it, there will be an open level for discussion. There will be an open level for talking about the issues that you bring to the table. Welcome back, Paul. Is your audio okay? Can you do an audio check for us? We lost him again, didn't we? Okay, that's fine. So The first thing is the approval of minutes, and between the three of us and the folks that are online, we're going to go ahead and review and approve the minutes afterwards. We don't need anything else from that at this point because the structure going forward will be a little bit different. Let's talk about oversight reports and some of the issues in the communities. Ryan, I'd like for you to just give a brief update as far as some of the municipalities. Let's start with Harvey and anything as far as oversight, and then we'll take it from there if you don't mind. Can't hear you. Hold on. Ryan, your voice, you're muted.
Oops, sorry. So as you know, with Harvey, Chris Clark is no longer mayor, so Shirley Derminsky was elected interim mayor, and through a very contested and still questionable process, the interim clerk is also Janet Rogers, who is the wife of the alderman of the 6th Ward, Tyrone Rogers. They both have well documented issues with alleged corruption, misuse of funds. So that is something we're definitely watching because, as you know, also the clerk is basically controls the elections, and we have elections next year. The clerk also controls all the important city information and paperwork. And although I don't believe that it is necessarily legal, and it's certainly not ethical or right, for I believe at least the past 2 years, the city of Harvey has been using the clerk to sign all checks instead of having our elected treasurer do so. So that's probably one of the bigger concerns we're looking at right now, with Janet Rogers being appointed as interim clerk, because that's there's just a lot of conflict of interest issues there, and the biggest being that her husband is an alderman. So I mean, can you imagine that the clerk is going to have to adjudicate the elections next year, including people who are running against her husband? So I don't know. It just seems like it's not a good setup. And then of course we keep monitoring and pushing the police, because we still have police brutality issues and abuse of police power. However, we have very low levels of police and fire staffing right now, and we still have not had our interim mayor Shirley Derminsky open the books, so we don't have a way of verifying what they are telling us. And they're telling us that we can't afford to hire back adequate staffing for our fire and police and other city departments, yet we don't have access. We can't verify that. We can't see any invoices, receipts, city bank statements. So they're basically, for the 7th year, asking us to just take them at their word.
Right.
That, for the finances. So that's another thing that we're pushing for, is for the books to be open, essential staff to be rehired, and then the appointments of probably I would say the biggest concern is the appointment for the clerk. That's too much pillow talk, Left Connect says. Exactly. So it's just not it's not wise, and I really don't want people to think either when we're speaking out on these issues, it's nothing personal. You could be bestest friends with Janet Rogers, and she could be, an angel sent from above, like literally. But it's just conflict of interest are just not proper, and they're not wise. They're not right. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So I just don't want people to think it's like we have nothing personal against anybody, but we do want to see things done properly.
Let me do this too. Let me help you with some of the things, because I think that it's very important, and I appreciate that. And Ramona, if you definitely want to chime in, you feel free to. I think first of all, I just want to address some of the things that you're saying and just kind of highlight them again. If you guys are joining us for the first time, I really want to go ahead and I really want to invite you into the chat, especially with the open forum within the next 30 minutes. We won't be much longer on that because this is our first forum, our first community conversations. So Ryan is discussing under municipal accountability. We are discussing one of the cities that we've had a problem with over the course of the last, at least definitely with pretty much indefinitely, it's been several years, but we've been drilling down from the standpoint of the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, the Harvey Historical Society, and some of the collaborative structures, some of the associated structures. The city of Harvey is currently facing a critical juncture defined by severe unstable, it's very unstable, right? The infrastructure is decaying and there is a history, and it's not a matter of picking on Harvey, y'all, but there's a history of systematic corruption, like some of the worst that we've seen in the nation. And we've been on the ground as a committee, as a structure, when I say, and the associate folks that you see here, plus the community, in fighting and calling for reform. And this is as of early 2006. Some of those issues are, let me speak to those issues. The city challenges have shifted from local mismanagement to a state level crisis, and they're asking for an urgent intervention, right? So unfortunately, I don't have my notes, because if I had my notes, I'd be able to break this thing down a lot better. But unfortunately, because of some of the issues, I have to go kind of off the top. So financial, they're asking for state oversight. And right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan and Ramona, right now, Harvey is navigating through a debt load of $164 million in debt, I believe. I believe that was the last number that I saw. And the situation, y'all, has become so dire that the city council really recently voted to be certified financially distressed under Illinois law. Now, when they did that this past summer, it hasn't even been more than 7 months, right? To where
no, that was in October. Yeah, so fairly
okay.
recent.
So yeah, it has been more than seven months. So October, November, December, January, February, so 4.5 going on 5 months, right? Financially distressed. And if they are certified, there will be a state financial advocacy authority that we are asking to gain power, reject all the city budgets, loans, and contracts from that point on, and then there will be a state level oversight, or possibly even a federal, but I think it would go to state at this point. And again, Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Ramona, feel free to chime in where you may. The next part about that, I'm just going to move through this real quickly, and I'm going to turn it back over. There is a pension crisis, right? There's a pension crisis, right? And what's the primary driver of that pension crisis, Ryan? Because you spent a lot of time on it. Like, say, for instance, the firefighters pension fund and all of that.
Right. Yeah, the city just wasn't contributing to pensions over the years,
Right.
But the problem is the mayor and the politicians currently, they'll try to say, oh, well, it's not our fault. Well, yes, it is your fault, because, and you knew that, especially Shirley, because she's been working for city government for years now.
Right.
She's an elected official. So also, I did want to clarify, because Left Connect asked about the debt. We have to be clear. We don't. The finances have not been independently verified, so that may or may not be the correct figure of the debt of Harvey. Nothing has been verified. We have not seen the books, invoices, or receipts. So
so we don't even know how they came to the reported, that last report was 164 million, but it could be over that. Excuse me, not under that. It could be well more than that.
Right.
So that's a problem, guys. That is a huge problem. So let's do this. Let's put that up, and then I'm gonna move through real quick. The only reason why I have some of these numbers is because I actually looked at it earlier, but again, I lost all of my reporting. So I did put up in the chat. I posted HB 4024, which is the legislation that was introduced in Springfield to ask for a $30 million grant to the city of Harvey. Let me push that through because we're talking about a financial accountability. And then we'll go to the questions. The proposed legislation was HB 4024. And I think who was it? Was it Will Davis who proposed that, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay.
In last March. So they knew about the financial crisis. Supposedly they knew they were going to ask the state for a bailout, but chose not to tell taxpayers until October.
Okay. So thank you for being on top of that. I definitely want you to speak to the underscoring, because here's the thing. As we speak, let me say this, guys. The city can no longer function. The city, I'm going to repeat that again. The city can no longer function independently without infrastructure. So when it comes to the public safety, there's so much disinvestment, and it's the physical and the logistical commission pretty much are non-existent at this point. You know, the city's physical foundation is in a state of emergency as well because of multiple fires. I think, Ryan, do we have an estimate about how many fires have hit the city itself from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, at least in my notes so far, it's been an average of one a week at least.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, we need definitely all eyes and ears on Harvey. You know, and for folks who are living in Harvey, including the two folks who are basically on our live stream, and Ramona, I'm going to give you, I want you to speak a little bit about just from a standpoint of living there, and I'm going to come to you in like 2 minutes, if you don't mind, if you'd like to chime in. But the other issues that, you know, there are frequent water main breaks and sewage backups. Ryan will be able to attest to this very well. They're common. And these are due to aging infrastructure, lead pipes. And I believe that I do know that the contractor, Calumet City Plumbing, has done a small amount of work. I did see some work in the city, but the priority is not there yet. So there are scheduled plans that they've talked about for capital improvement to replace the structures, like deficient bridges and all of that happened probably about 5-6 years ago, but we haven't seen any critical upgrades. And correct me if I'm wrong, by 2026. Is that right, Ryan? Or have you seen any upgrades in that area?
Right. Yeah, we did have a new comprehensive plan that was approved last year with very little public input, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I mean, they always talk a good game at the city, but at the end of the day, the few projects that get done, like 154th Street, and those little community centers that are kind of useless, or we don't really know what they're supposed to be for. The projects seem to be selected in order for them to be able to use grant money. That's the only thing that I can figure, because there are usually few of them and they're really random. Like, why would you choose to totally rip up a street that was in really good shape? You know, things like that. It's very, I don't know how they decide these things. But yeah, the actual infrastructure that needs to get fixed usually doesn't get fixed.
All right. So guys, if you're just joining us and you'd like to be a part of the conversation, we're going to breeze through this real quick, and we are. And I appreciate, one thing that I know is Ryan Sinwelski is definitely eyes and ears on the ground. Ramona's eyes and ears on the ground. If you guys want to step up and, don't be intimidated, but be a part of the conversation. Listen, this is just an off-the-cuff conversation, and it's one of the first that we'll be doing every month on the second Monday of each month in reference to the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, okay? And just to keep everyone updated. So we were just talking about the disinvestment in Harvey. So there is the last thing about Harvey, and then we'll go to maybe one more community, and we'll publish this, but there is a growing push. I'm gonna say that again. I need you guys to hear me. There is a greater push for greater accountability regarding the city's use of their financials. We're also looking at their TIF, right? You guys know what the TIF is, the TIF surpluses. And right now, we don't even know where any of that is. So again, for the 2026 physical year, I think you guys had a audit that was what was the last audit that was certified? Was it 23 or 24? That was
I
certified
think I
like
thought it
a
was
month ago.
2022. But remember
Yep.
that audit is basically useless too, because if you read the first 2 pages, the firm that we paid like $110,000 to, they said, well, the city didn't give us access to the general fund, the water fund, the like something business fund, like all this stuff. So we're like, well, wait. So you just city council approved to pay over 100,000 to these people, and the audit's almost worthless because it didn't even include information from some of the most basic accounts.
Hmm.
It's
So,
crazy.
so we do have a wealth of knowledge from Harvey, Illinois. Um, and I just want to, the next part is about developer relations. And again, that's coming from out of Harvey because I think we spent a lot of time. I mean, you folks live in Harvey. Um, Ramona, while I'm pulling up the next information as far as developer relations, I definitely want to touch base about the recent transparency demand with one of the developers out in Harvey, and just to keep people duly informed. But there are communities, and it's just not a picking on Harvey. It's just that unfortunately, it's one of our biggest problematic areas when it comes to
Right.
oversight. So that's why we're developing the proper analysis right now. So Ramona, let's talk about just the layman's on the ground of how you feel just living there and some of the things that you're seeing just from being a part of the community and being a part of the structure there. Do you mind?
Um,
You can you can just speak from your heart. Just take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You don't have to, it's just a matter of, you can start with just the level of transparency that you've experienced and some of the problems that you see. I'll help you out. But yeah, I think that would be a great area because we spent a lot of time on this. And then I'll pull up the other parts of the report. So please feel free. I'm sorry.
yes, one of the things that concerns me as a resident is that there is not enough transparency because I feel like the residents are part of the planning process of anything. As I have attended several of the council meetings, and the residents are really not heard. So that concerns me when the residents are not part of the planning of anything that goes on in Harvey. And we know that our city is financially stressed. So we should be part of that process because we live there and we know what we need in our community. And we have streets that have not been fixed. We have fires often now. Before we wasn't having that. The crime rate is high. All of these things are a big concern for me. So in this process, I believe that the residents are left out, and it's like our opinion doesn't mean anything to the current administration, and our input is important financially all the way around. So when I did my own research, Harvey didn't just get this way overnight. It has slowly been going down the drain. And because of the residents being left out and people just making decisions on our city, it's horrible. And they have made very bad decisions. And we're suffering. The residents are suffering, the businesses are suffering, and then their homes, dilapidated homes, and the city just looks horrible. And I'm pretty sure this is not the way that residents want to see their community look. So one of the most important things for me is that the residents must speak up. If you can't do it in city council, then you have to go outside of there and make sure your voice is being heard. Because this is a community that we live in, and we have a decision on how we want our city to run. And for the city, the officials that are working here, I mean, we need people that actually live in Harvey, not outside people, because they're not going to care as much about our community as we do. And so I think it's important, get to those polls and vote for who you want. I don't want to stay on that too long. I'm just saying your voice has to be heard one way or the other. Either you're going to speak out or you have to be the change. We have to be the change for our community. We have to decide who we want in these offices. Who has our best heart and interest? We don't want to wait until the last minute to start looking at who's qualified for these positions. We need to start looking way ahead of time. And then we know what these people's credentials are. We know who we are putting in these seats. Because it's obvious these people did not care sitting in this seat. They just took money and just expect us to sit back and not say anything. But I know I'm older, but I expect this city to look better than what it looks like. And I've been a resident here for over 10 years, and I haven't seen a change, and that is horrible. I moved into this city expecting better things. And I know that this community can change if the residents will speak up more and do more things in their community. Get involved, find out why this is not happening, why that's not happening. We can't just allow our elected officials say anything to us and they expect us to believe it. We need to start checking behind what they say to make sure that what they say matches what they're doing, because they're saying one thing and doing something else. I'm not going to single out anyone, but everyone plays a part in this, and I do understand that you can't do everything, but at least make the community feel like you care. And that you want Harvey to look better. It appears to me that, okay, it's financially stressed, let's just let it stay like this. No, we have to want more. We have to do better. We have to come out and demand some things. You're not going to get it if you don't demand it. And your voice needs to be heard. That's the most important thing to me. We cannot allow elected officials to just drain us and just leave us sitting looking terrible. And this is what has happened. And we don't need anybody outside coming in to tell us how to run our city. That's another thing.
You know what, Ramona, can I stop you? Can I chime in? And I appreciate you, because I thought you were a little bit shy, but you are doing excellent, my lady. Let me say this to you. Let's chime in, because both me and Ryan know you're doing well. But what we do want to say is that, one of the misnomers is that folks are saying that, and we don't want to make this conversation exclusively to Harvey. So I was going to say that folks are saying that, if you don't live in a community, you can't help. We want to get away from that type of mentality. What we do want to do is we want to solicit qualified help from anyone on the ground who can help, anyone from around the community who has positive things to say. I definitely wanted to go a little bit deeper into some of the things like the investor relations in Harvey. That stuff is on the agenda, but what I don't want to do is I do not want to, unfortunately, again, it's one of the transparency demands, and there's a growing push for accountability in Harvey. But even, to the standpoint of, for next month, we can put it on the agenda to talk about the TIF districts and how these TIF districts are being used and misused, these TIF surpluses. And for those who don't know what the TIF surpluses is, I definitely want us to I'll do a qualified report on that, but that's the tax increment finance. It's called TIF. And basically, it's a way of the properties that are under TIF, the accountabilities. These are allotments for community redevelopment, and a lot of times it goes unobserved, if that's the right way to say it, and it's misused and manipulated, especially when it comes to the real estate aspect of it. We've seen a lot of corruption with some of the officials giving away tips to relatives, and cronyism exists, and people who they don't know. And these are the things that we want to. You go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry, you want to say something? Okay, no, I thought he wanted to say something. So anyway.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Sorry, I'm also live streaming on TikTok while we're doing this, so I may answer some questions on there. Okay. But I agree. I think that people, if you want to start letting people up, I think people are getting impatient to share. I say, Amir, you go right ahead, and whenever you're ready, I'm ready for that.
Okay. Paul Roberts just joined us. Paul, can you hear? Can you hear? Paul, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So go ahead. So one of the things we wanted to welcome you back. Paul is a moderator for several groups, but he's definitely a moderator in the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. I just wanted to leave the floor open for you to chime in because we covered a couple of different pieces. And, you did ask if the conversation was exclusively to Harvey. No, it's
right.
not. So we have you here. We want to capture your energy, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan before we go forward. So where were you at, and what did you want to address at this point?
Well, I just wanted to make it brief because I have to show up to work as an election judge at 5 a.m.
We'll talk about that as well. Go ahead.
And I wanted to mention that there have been allegations of voter fraud in Dalton. The woman who Napoleon hired to take care of his Homewood Senate office had been campaigning outside of the early voting site in Calumet City for a couple of weeks. But on Friday, Keith Price reported that she went to a nursing home in Dalton and actually started marking residents' ballots against their will. Now, some of the residents don't even know what's happening there, but one who did complained, and a real staff member reported Napoleon's employee to the county election authorities and to the county sheriff. I just hope that there will be an investigation and even an arrest of this obvious crime. But that was just one thing that was on my mind when I went to a township meeting tonight. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Paul, you can go right ahead. You're running fine. Go right ahead.
There was a township meeting scheduled for 6 o'clock tonight. Lansing Journal published just a generic, absolutely empty agenda. It was not on the website. They didn't email it to the Lansing Journal as they used to, but they scotch taped the agenda to the front entrance on Saturday. When I saw that it was a generic, empty agenda, I knew that it was going to be canceled again, just like last month. But there were at least 7 residents hoping to attend that meeting tonight. And we were wondering what was the real reason that they canceled. We all agreed that they didn't want anything controversial on election eve. It might have been the voter fraud in Dalton. It could have been the no-bid contracts to family members that Stephanie has been talking about. It could have been the employee bonuses, which weren't authorized and were given out only to employees who showed up at a party. But anyway, it's rescheduled for Wednesday, and I hope that residents will show up and speak their minds.
Yeah, and I know, Paul, a lot of people said that they expected this meeting to be canceled tonight because they expected Napoleon and his board did not want accountability. So I guess it doesn't surprise me, but you said the meeting is rescheduled for Wednesday at 6?
Right.
Well, what I do want to say, Paul and Ryan and everyone in the earshot of what we're talking about, I do believe that because, and I'm not justifying, but I know one of the conversations that I had, and Ryan can attest to it, is that, we were actually scheduled to go to the meeting tonight to address concerns. But at the same time, we're talking about 12-degree weather. So, I think that there is a weather emergency. So, and it didn't make sense to pull people into a meeting, even though it's a critical time. So that might have been a reason why it was canceled and rescheduled. But there has to be transparency at the level of, if they are going to cancel, then don't wait to the last minute for people to be en route and then show up and see a it's not considerate at all. And I think that at a certain point, we can draft a letter from the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee to find a better system and a better strategy to give us updates on the content and what's coming up from the meetings, because I think that both those areas have been lacking. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
At least Tiffany Henyard would have her clerk post a notice on the township website when she knew that a meeting would be canceled.
Paul, there is and by the way, not to, but I just, to your question, someone had a question and you see that on the screen. So that's a question directed. If you want to answer it, that's fine. If not, then I can answer it, or whoever, Ryan, if you'd like to. But that question was posted just now. The question is, who would enforce or investigate voter fraud? That would be the Attorney General's Office of Illinois folks. So,
it should also be the Cook County State's Attorney. They have a public corruption division.
Yeah. So those would be two structures who can investigate that information. There is a need. I'm going to say this just from my standpoint, and then Ryan, I'll turn it back over to you before we go back into the next area, which is the elections, because Paul mentioned it, and then Paul, whatever else you want to talk about. But there is a need for transparency and accountability, and we've heard it time and time again at the township, and there are demands. So you guys are, this is not the first time we've heard it. There is a growing push for greater accountability regarding, the use of what they're doing with this township's resources. So these are the conversations that Napoleon and the team have to really open up the door on within the next phase of what they're doing. If he's reelected past Tuesday, which I'm going to leave it at, if he's reelected past Tuesday, I will say that, we can ask to foster a relationship for greater accountability, and we'll put that on the agenda. I do not agree with some of the narrative just from a personal standpoint, but I do believe that, it's come from several different areas. So they have to, at a certain point, they have to address the transparency demand. And I think from what I've seen, they probably got a D- in that area. So just my point,
Well, my point was I met with half a dozen residents, 4 of whom I had never met before.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone had their own opinion. What was the straw that broke the camel's back to cancel tonight's meeting? But we all agreed that it was canceled for political reasons, because they wished to avoid an embarrassment on election eve.
Yeah, I really can't speak to it. But if you heard that again, we can ask, because here's the thing. This is one of the most critical. This is like Christmas Eve to a child, if for a better use of it. This is very important for us to be able to, election eve of one of the most critical elections in our township, in our county. We have some very big races. So, Paul, let's put that on the agenda for a future conversation, and let's have a one-off conversation. Your voice is very much. Listen, I'm gonna say this again to you. Your voice is very critical in the path going forward. And I know we've had private one-off conversations, but please, I definitely we see the work that you're doing. We see the work that you and your wife are doing. You're very much invested in the community. And let's review and find out if there's any reports about transparency that we can publish, and we can go ahead and do that. And we can do that from our platform. And so, because we have thousands of people at this point, even in our exception, we are there to demand greater accountability regarding, what's going on in the township. So let's look at some of those areas and see if we can foster, even if it's talking to Ms. Bit and having her foster conversation beforehand. I think, that might be warranted. I do.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Paul, did you have an answer for Left Connect wants to know, have the authorities been alerted? And he says, make sure they are alerted, don't assume someone else will. A good question.
I don't have any direct evidence.
Yeah, I don't either.
All I know is what Keith Price posted on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess at this point I can only hope that Keith reported it, because same thing. I wasn't a witness of it, but I agree.
And so, just to be that devil's advocate, guys, I will say this. This is not an indictment of Mr. Price, but because he is a former employee that has a very biased opinion, I think that, we just really need to take that in and allow the door open for greater transparency from our platform. And, outside of Mr. Price's, again, he is a former employee that was terminated. So, I mean, there is a level of bias there that kind of puts him to the left of the conversation, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve accountability or demand for accountability, but just for those reasons alone, I would see it coming from somebody like you, Paul, myself, or Ryan, someone who just doesn't have that level of deepness, if that makes sense. But I mean, the need is real, the struggle is real, and it's definitely, the demand is real, and it's not just coming from any of the names mentioned. And it's real. So accountability has to be there. So, Paul, one more thing before you go. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. And, we're an hour and a half. I don't want to spend too much. I think we want to close this within the next 30 minutes. But I will say this. Let's talk about the restructuring real quick of the rules and guidelines, just from the social media standpoint page. I mean, I think that within the next 3 to 4 weeks has to go forward, because we want to trend the type of information that people are getting to make sure that it's useful and beneficial for people. And you had mentioned that project early on. I think that's another project that we would like to pursue, because I mean, there's a wealth of information coming from the federal government. There's, some things, and the only reason why, we share a lot of the information is because we can trend better for analytics. And that's how we've been able to grow, because we open up the door and let a lot of information in, and it helps out with our analytics. But going forward, especially when we get 1,000 people going forward, we want to trend the information as much as possible to say these are issues pertinent to the township. So let's figure out the project, how we can do that, and how to remain more of a center focus, if that makes sense, because I think that it's very necessary in the days going forward.
My suggestion would be that the best way to grow is through in-person conversations with your neighbor.
Yeah. Okay.
Bring your neighbors to meetings. Neighbors who you've only spoken to 2 or 3 times. You'll find that they share a lot of your concerns.
Yeah. So,
and you don't want to look like just a small fringe group of the same half a dozen people complaining every week.
Right.
You want to bring in new people every week.
Right. So, and we'll talk on offline about ways to do that as far as our content strategy. But one thing I will say, Paul, Ryan, and everyone, it is working. What we're doing is working very much so. So I definitely want to, just keep that conversation going to the level that we can, and really be able to address it where we can. So let's talk about those things in the days ahead, and then we'll review our content strategy. So
Okay.
appreciate that, and I appreciate you, by the way, and tell Jennifer we said hello. But was there anything else that you had?
No, I'm going to sleep fast.
Listen, if you're inside, which election judges are, cool. Be very careful about that weather. It's going to be bad tomorrow, so just make sure you keep yourself warm. Get some hot chocolate. Get some, keep some iced tea. Some hot tea by you, not iced tea, some hot tea, and just keep yourself duly acclimated, because
buddy?
it's going to be very cold tomorrow. So, good luck on the election tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Good luck, Paul.
Ryan, you have the floor, sir.
No, I just want to ask if anybody else, if Beth wanted to say something, or who else is here? Diana, or anybody who wanted to come up. Please don't be shy.
Right. So with that in mind, let me repost the link for anyone who wants to join. And I would think that anybody running a political campaign would want to join, especially because the election is tomorrow. But listen, it's okay, because we're moving forward progressively. Ryan, what were you presenting?
Right. Oh, and Left Connect had a good idea. He said, have a barbecue at least every 3 months. People love to eat and complain. Yes, they do. They do. Exactly.
So you can.
Yeah, I had a video I was going to share. Sure, whenever you're ready.
Okay. And by the way, Left Connect, we had something to talk about. Go ahead and get that video ready. You can share it. Are you able to share that from where you're at, or do I have to do it?
You have to add it to the stage.
Okay, go ahead. And where is it at, Ryan? Is that on there right now?
It should be at the bottom of your screen. But
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, since I'm not a mod, I can't.
All right. I just put it through.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just created this video. Oh man, hopefully it doesn't show up as too small. I may have to zoom it in. So this is just advising people. Hey, you do what you want for who you want for who you want, but saying no, vote no to Yumika Brown, Aira Coral Sepulveda, and Precious Davis, because being on the MWRD board, they voted time and time again to pick our elderly residents out of their long-time home. Oh, it's really quiet. Can you turn it up at all?
No, you have to control that. I don't have any control over it.
I think it's turned up all the way on my end. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it's so quiet.
Send me the link. Send me the link, or put the link in the chat, and I'll pull it up from my end.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just this one part here. Hold on.
We definitely should talk.
Okay, that gets louder. Okay, it's just the first part, I guess.
Okay. And enlarge your screen, please. There you go.
So she's a little quiet. This is one of the displaced widows. She's saying, it's a bad time in my life. I'm 75 years old. I lost my husband, etc. She's crying. Now remember, the mayor and his cronies and the MWRD are here. This is at the MWRD meeting. And they're saying, oh, well, F you, Miss So-and-so. We're going to kick you out of your house anyway.
25 years old, and I have to buy a home, but I'm going to have another mortgage.
So she
Explain to us what the backdrop of this meeting is, Ryan.
She's going to have another mortgage.
My husband died.
And so I just really wanted to highlight.
So this is Yumika. She's one of the ladies running. She's running for Congress. She's on the MWRD board. And yeah, so she's talking about the project.
And the district was really trying to be a good community partner and really trying to work with the city of Harvey.
So she said the district was trying to be a good community partner and work with the city of Harvey. And here you have a displaced Harvey resident telling the truth about what really happened and what the city really wanted to do.
The city of Harvey over the past few years, and was driven by their desire to develop a Central Park. So let's tell them that the reason why is because you want to build a Central Park.
Commissioner Yumika Brown is village clerk for the village of Matson, Illinois, in the south suburbs, yet she has ignored all of our requests to help and to listen and to stop the taking of residents' homes that is totally unnecessary. Ms. Brown, we definitely should talk. Do you have any comments on displacing our widows when you know you didn't have money for the projects? Do they have any comments on why would you take our residents' homes when you didn't even have the money for the projects? MWRD commissioners, staff.
Well, this is Precious Brady Davis, another one of the MWRD commissioners, and I apologize for the TikTok people. I know you can't see. I swear to God, I will figure out how to link them eventually. But we're just showing some politicians that voted to take our residents' homes, and of course now they want to be elected or reelected, and we're saying hell no.
So
Our widows are wanting to know why you did that.
Defense of saying that the staff who work at the district that they want to oust people from their homes.
So we called Precious Brady Davis out on it. She got upset and said, "Oh, I take offense." Well, again, here is from the community meeting that was held about it, where the residents saying, "Yeah, the bulldozers are going to be at their doors."
Let's just go back to the drawing table, because this arguing and that back and forth is not going to stop, because I feel that in the end, the bulldozers are going to be at their front doors, and it's just going to be escalating.
And I think that that is a false pretense. And one of the reasons that I am sitting in this chair, because I am an advocate for environmental justice, and I believe this is what it's
So she calls herself an advocate for environmental justice. But we want to push old people out of their houses. Yes, that's very just.
for Harvey at this time. The mayor of Harvey is supporting this project. They passed this project.
Yeah.
If you have issues with this project, you should go to the local city council and you should go to the mayor.
Well, then she tells us basically, don't complain to us. Why are you here? Go to your city council. Well, you see right here what happens when you try to speak to your mayor and city council. Listen to it.
The residents, when we asked you to come and meet with us after the 15th, you never even wanted to meet with us. You showed us no compassion, no empathy at all. And we are the ones.
We are the ones.
So this is former mayor arguing with the resident. Sorry, the audio will get a little bit better in a second.
No, we're all here. You've never met with anybody. You should have met with us. We are in this place. People have worked for 50 plus years in their homes.
It's the least you could do.
And here's the thing, we have projects, so the thing is, it's not like, oh, we can just get up and go and do all of this. My father, 88 years old, what do you think that's gonna do when he has to walk?
So again, if you couldn't hear, she's saying we have pride in our homes. My father's 88 years old. Why are you going to take away his house from him for this project that we don't want and we don't need?
The last time we're his home, and the blood gonna be on your hands, are you all gonna be liable? She lost her husband. She lost her husband also. What do you think it's gonna do? They built these things with their spouses, and they are no longer here with them.
You said they lost their spouses?
What do you think that's gonna do to them when they have to leave? You don't care, because you never.
Well, you've already painted me with the brush, and that's the reason why. And that's the reason why I haven't met with you.
And that just goes to show you what sort of politicians that we have to face. So the resident says, well, you don't care. You didn't even bother to meet with us to ask us if we wanted this project before you said we're kicking you out of your homes. And he said, well, you're painting me with a broad brush. That's why I didn't want to meet with you. And then you can hear the crowd go, oh.
I wish she went there because it's really coming out.
So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Are very challenging.
Here's Mr. Pulbida.
That was requested.
Actually, the commissioner is not wrong. The project work was requested, but listen to the location that Ms. Steele gives. It's a location that is outside of the projected area that would benefit from the Central Park Pond project.
Well, we're totally open to your suggestions and to hear, what other options are available. The application that was submitted to the MWRD, the project location was.
Listen for the location. It's not on Myrtle.
Southeast corner of West 144th Street and Wood Street.
144th and Wood. That's nowhere near the block where these residents were kicked out of their houses.
Can we take some action on this? This is a huge bombshell for us in Harvey.
I take
Here's Sepulveda again.
attention to you singling out the only Black women elected to this board in your comments. Every single one of us has supported that project because it is a good project for Harvey. So you can take yourself and just go and parade all you want, but you are not making a difference.
Go and parade, because you know I'm gay and we love parades, right, Eric? You know, let's just get that stereotype out there again. And then I said, well, do you think it's good to support evicting our widows?
Do you think it's good to support evicting our widows? And here's Commissioner Sepulveda, who claims that she is, quote, inclusive, and refuses to listen to residents who say, we don't want this project. Did you guys know you're evicting our residents, commissioners, and you didn't even get the money for the project? Would you like to comment on that? Our Harvey widows are devastated. This is a huge bombshell, commissioners. Would you like to comment? You voted to displace them and they did not, you didn't even have the money for the project.
So Ryan.
So again, all those people are running for re-election or election to new positions. So just so you're aware, you make your own decisions, but you know, I am recommending not to vote for them because you know, you can see they have not been responsive to the public at all.
Let me summarize a little bit of that too, if you don't mind, just to kind of, and you did a decent job. I appreciate that. And I think just for the people who don't know, because here's the question that was asked. So the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, I always get it mixed up as far as MWRD, has several major infrastructure projects going on. And these are community-focused projects, like in Harvey, they were talking about a stormwater detention basin, and it was like a multi-million-dollar investment that displaced people in the community and moved people out of their homes under promise that this was supposed to begin by, I believe it was early this year or this spring or something, Ryan. So the project, you know,
yeah, they still say they're going to start by, you know, by this spring. So we'll see. But the whole thing was not, it's not needed, nor is it wanted. So that's the whole controversy. You know?
So
again, why would you go to displace people? And then to answer who's getting paid, of course, we know that typically is contractors. You know, now do we have proof of it on paper? No. Because it is often hard to track down, but that's typically how they get paid.
So this is an ongoing issue in not all of the areas where they built, like the Robbins Heritage Park. If you guys are going past 135th and Canty, I believe, then you can see that one, and it's almost completed. There's a little bit, but I think it's about 95% completed, and the project gave flood level protection to probably over 100 acres of stormwater parks, and you can run through these parks and all that. So to be honest with you, there is a level of community improvement, but in the case of somewhere like a Harvey where people were displaced and, you know, there was no transparency, that's when it becomes a problem. So Ryan was really talking to a lot of these executives and asking, hey, you know, what are you guys doing, especially from the standpoint of Harvey? There's been several other areas, the O'Brien Reclamation Park, and you guys can see that. That's one of the largest ones that they did. But if you really want to see it in effect, then you can go to Midlothian has one as well. Robbins is the newest one that I've seen. And, you know, from the standpoint of just a layman's standpoint, they look good, so on and so forth. But again, we don't want just looks as the aesthetic, because if they're displacing people and there's no transparency and the community is not invested in this or given the right information, that's when it becomes a problem.
Because that's the difference. No, most of these other projects don't involve displacement. You know, some have. There have been some where people have complained. I think it was either Oak Lawn or somewhere near Oak Lawn. I remember when I was researching this, and they had a very, very unpopular project there. Same thing. And the residents are still upset about it, and they feel that those who were forced to sell their homes, you know, that the actual benefits weren't what the MWRD was promising. So they have a huge budget, and yes, the contractors, their buddies, They're all connected. They all know each other. The board members and the big contractors, they get paid. So, I mean, there's fierce competition for these contracts. They're multi-million-dollar contracts. So to try to pretend that no one's getting paid is just not true. Hey, Chihuahua.
So with that being said, Ryan, was there anything else, or was there, because we can move on to the
No, that's it. Just vote no for Yumika Sepulveda and Precious Brady Davis, because I don't believe in kicking old people out of their homes to make a little extra money.
And I do want to say that, that is Ryan's opinion. It doesn't have to be, but, that's what he's suggesting. And at this point, we are at the eve of, which brings me to the next point. We are at the eve of the election. So let's talk about the election strategy.
And you vote for who you want to vote for, but the number one thing that I'm about is you need to be informed. Besides obviously vote.
Right.
Just be aware. That's why I'm like, if you don't mind that they voted to displace some people, by all means vote yes. I won't take away.
Right. And we will follow up on that, and that is in the notes, and that is in our meeting timeline. But I do want to abbreviate this. So tomorrow we are in the Illinois primary election tomorrow for 2026. So I just want to go over every last election so folks can know what's going on tomorrow, and more going to the next meeting and the next election cycle will be a lot more sophisticated, folks. But the major midterm election for Illinois has several high-profile offices due to open retirement. So, for instance, tomorrow, the U.S. Senate, the first open race for Senator Dick Durbin because of his retirement. So that's the U.S. Senate race. And the leading contenders are Juliana Stratton, who's the associate or lieutenant governor, Robin Kelly, who's a congresswoman. I don't know what her district is. I should know, but forgive me, y'all, don't hold it. And then Krista Morty. So those are the three primary contenders for Senator Dick Durbin's office at this point. So that's up. The Republican primary candidates include Don Tracy, who's a former GOP chair, and Janine Evans from the U.S. House of Representatives. Tomorrow, all 17 congressional districts are up for election, including the notable second district, which we have some crowd favorites, some crowd pleasers, including Robin Kelly. To replace Robin Kelly, including Jesse Jackson Jr. We have Willie Preston, and again, I don't have all of the other names, but we will post tonight.
It's a long list. It's definitely
we'll post. It's a crowded field. It is a crowded field. Donna Miller from the 9th District, high-profile race to replace Jan Strzalkowski, featuring candidates like Daniel Bliss and I can't pronounce Cat. Let me just post it in the Ryan. I'll give you
that one. Yeah, I wasn't following that one too closely, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, let me just post it in the field. So this is the you know what I say? I say if you can't pronounce it, just post it.
Cat. Yeah, I know her first name's Cat.
Okay, there we go.
For the second,
there we go, y'all. Go ahead, Ryan. Do your due diligence.
I was going for probably the Robert Peters. Well, I voted for Robert Peters, but either him or maybe Jesse Jackson. I don't know. I wasn't too super impressed with the other people, but yeah, it is a big list. It's definitely a big list. So I know you said you knew at least you knew one of the guys, right? Wow, what's his name? Willie?
Yeah.
Willie?
Yeah.
Willie thank you, Love Connect. Vocat.
And Love Connect says Vocat. Okay, we got you. Thank you so much for that assistance too. We love you, man. Thank you for that. Keep it up.
No, Left Connect. Wait, no. That's a different race. Rodney, that's for senator.
Which one?
That's for
senator. That's
9th
district. That's for the 9th district.
No, that's senator. Do you see where he said the Democratic candidates are Kevin Ryan, Robin Kelly, Juliana Stratton, the Raja, Steve, Brian Maxwell, Jonathan Dean, Sean Brown. Yeah, because it is a long list too. I forget who I said that I was endorsing. I can't remember the guy's name. It was the guy who's the professor at University of Illinois at Chicago.
So that is for second district. Jesse Jackson Jr. and all those people. That's for second district.
No. That's for Senate. The candidates. You see, Robin Kelly is a candidate because she's running for Senate.
Okay, so that one going back, that's Juliana Stratton, Robin Kelly, and Raja Krishnamurti. That's for the U.S. Senate, and that's Dick Durbin's office. So,
and those other names too, because I did not vote for any of the big names. I voted for, like I said, he I forget which name is on the list, but he's the U of I professor.
Well, I didn't even mention, the independents and so on and so forth. So I mean, but
he's Democrat. He's Democrat. There are a lot of Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crowded field as well. So and I'm just for the purposes of time, but to apologize to you guys, they are on the list. And what I will do tonight is I'll research it and get an entire slate up for this election year. I'll do that. But also, the governor incumbent, J.B. Pritzker, is running for a third term with his new running mate. It's not Juliana, but it's Christian Mitchell. So that's a name that I'm sure a lot of people don't know. But and he faces Republican challenger Darren Bailey and Ted Dabrowski. Don't really know those people, but
I was going to say, unfortunately, I didn't research for the Republican primary. I'm sorry. There was just too much going on.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any recommendations there other than to say avoid the MAGA people would be my preference. But
hey, if you guys want to do MAGA, that's on you. I wouldn't, but I mean, listen, it's a free country. It's a free world.
Do you want to address Carl? I'd like to address directly.
Go ahead, and I'll pull up.
He says, hey, Brian, look forward to seeing you Monday. I don't know what that means. Amir's FBI, and they are effing with you. But Carl, I will remind you that I had issued before a cease and desist. So you need to stop spreading malicious lies and defamation and slander about me, as well as about Amir and everyone else. And it's not cute. It's not funny. It is potentially illegal. It's unethical, and it's disgusting. So
okay, so here's
just
the thing.
Clarify that.
Here's the thing, Carl. Let's just let's slow his comments down. And here's the thing. We're gonna end our, but we're not for that. So just let's ignore him on that. And
right.
We don't even have to address it. We can move on. Okay.
I just wanted to remind, because I have a public cease and desist out.
I got you. So with that being said, Kwame, the Attorney General's office for Kwame Raoul is up for re-election. The Secretary of State incumbent, Alexei Giuliani, is seeking a second term, so he's up as well. And these are, and the Controller for Illinois is an open seat because Susana Mendoza is not seeking re-election. So just so you guys know, the Treasurer, Mike for Riches, I can't pronounce his name, is running for re-election for state senate legislator and judicial. The Illinois Senate is 2/3. These are all of the elections that I'm going to read out. 2/3 of the seats are up for election. Okay. In the Illinois House, all 18 seats are up for judicial, various vacancies in the Supreme Court, the Appellate Court. So you got all kinds of judicial. And one thing I want to say about the judges, listen, let's not blank slate people just because they're a Democrat or a Republican. Let's literally look at who they are, because year after year we blank slate folks, and that is not what we should be doing. Even if they're a Democrat, let's look at their quality of service. I am very serious about blank slating these judges, because some of them, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, act outside of public interest year after year. So just be careful about the judges and don't give them a free ride. Really vet them out very carefully tomorrow, and stop doing the party line thing, because it's not helping us out any. Anybody have anything to say about that? Because that's a real big pet peeve of mine, and it's a piece that we really need to address in the days going forward. Cook County Board President Tony Prepwinkle is up. Cook County Sheriff, y'all know that's up. The Accessor to Treasurer And like Ryan was saying, the MRWD commissioners, that's the Water Reclamation District, MWRD. I'm sorry, I always get it mixed up. So those polls are all up, and those polls open tomorrow at 6 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. So if you aren't registered yet, Illinois does allow same day. I'm going to post this. I'm going to type it and post it. Illinois does allow same-day registration at your home precinct or your designated voting site. So just make sure that you bring 2 forms of identification, okay? 2 forms of identification. Let me say that, and let me post that. And again, you still have time. So just bring 2 forms of ID and go ahead and hit those polls at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You can do it before you go to work or even after work. Just make sure your ID is valid and check if you have any questions. Ramona will tell you we had some questions for the board, the county elections board, and anyway, we'll talk later about that. That was a little bit of a project, right, Ramona?
Yeah.
But strategize ahead of time.
Yes.
And let's make tomorrow actionable.
Let's connect the two forms of ID: retinal scan, firstborn, DNA swab. Oh my God.
What did he say?
He was just being silly, but about all the different IDs.
Oh my God.
Luckily though, let's connect if in Illinois, because he's in Missouri. So in Illinois, they are pretty open about, it's pretty easy to just I think you just have to show your signature or something, but I will say, I know Beth.
We can go to Paul, then we can go to Beth. Paul was saying, what does it take to get voters to research the candidates who want to spend their money? We can put that together going into the next election as a blank slate thing. We can be as deep as we want just to make sure, but I want to stay away from biases because, again, people have their opinions and things are all over the board. So I just want to keep things focused. We can talk about that. And so, Paul, those are good questions, but we can definitely have a one-off as far as how we proceed from here. Beth, Ryan, you were saying something about what Beth was saying. I just posted it up. Beth was saying don't blank slate candidates, guys. So that's what we got. Registered voters only need to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I totally agree. As far as Paul's telling people to research, you have to research the candidates, and I like what Left Connect said. He says vote for the progressive non-corporate judge or politician. That's for me. That's a pretty good.
Hey, Paul, I know you're an election judge, but you're saying that the registered voters only need to tell the election judge their name and address. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Because I don't know if the law. I'm sorry?
Yeah, Paul should know that.
He should, but I think the laws changed only because there was a level of push. And I think that as of this year, I think that there was a thing. So, just let's verify that by tomorrow and see, because I think you do need to have 2 forms of ID. But
now, also, Beth had said don't blank slate candidates. I think she meant don't leave anything blank. Since this is a primary, I actually did, because some of the people, I'm not really fans of them. And there's only one person on there, so I just figured, I don't need to vote for them. So then I just did whatever. But do what you want.
Yeah, Paul was saying I get it, Paul. Paul was saying you only need 2 pieces of ID if you wish to register at the polling place. So the thing is that I would definitely come prepared as well on the flip side of that. So thank you for your clarification, Paul.
Oh, yes.
That makes sense. If you guys are registering at the polling place, then bring 2 IDs. Paul is an election judge and he's done this before. So, we're not second guessing anything that you say, Paul. I will say that there have been times, especially even in the early voting process, to where some of the folks were turned away for whatever reason. So depending upon what precinct you're in, where you're going, just make sure that, if you're going to be if there's going to be any kind of contest, that you're able to bring all of your documentation with you anyway. That's what I would say. And then Prima Donna said, all I had to do was give my name and address to vote early. So thank you for that one. And yeah, we appreciate that. And that is in line with what Paul was saying. So we're good on that one. So thank y'all for that clarification. So here's the thing. And if you guys stop me, because I'm moving through it within the next 5 minutes so quickly so we can end this. But if there's anything that I missed or anything we need to go ahead and go for, let me know. And thank you for hanging in, Ramona and Ryan. But I will say this, guys. I will say this. And by the way, as we were on, I did get a message from a favorite of you guys. I'll have to tell you guys. The only reason why I brought it up is because I was going to mention it, but I think I'm going to share it offline. Let me say this to you folks. We are in the process of making every process better. Thank you for the 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 people who have watched this and stood in with us tonight, and we've been able to maintain. There are member-led topics for open floor. So if you guys have anything open floor for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, please feel free. If not, if anybody on the chat wants to talk, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I got to get going.
Yeah. So if not, then what we'll do is the next meeting date is April 16, 2026. Listen, we got to go by Robert's rules. So April 16, 2026. We will have the minutes from this meeting posted. It was a great session. We will be a little bit more in depth. And I would say at this point, let's just look and see how we can build for the future. I think a project that we can leave with that will make this more actionable is this week we'll announce an admin from our group who we can highlight for the admin of the month. But let's do one thing between now and the next meeting, which is April 16th. Let's find a business person in our community of the month who we can highlight, who service the community very well. Let me remove this. And then we can take it from there, because we have to be able to develop our economics.
Oh, Amir, did you see too? I just added in, if you want help looking up judges, you can use an Injustice Watch as a website. So they'll give you different ratings and stuff. It's very helpful.
Yeah. Stop blank slating judges, y'all. Stop blank slating judges. It's not good. And that's such a those races are critical. So we got to put those at the forefront of what we're doing.
What does that mean? Does that mean like to not vote? Is that what you're saying?
Blank slate means that if they're a Democrat, just because they're a Democrat, we don't check them and properly vet them. We'll just sign off on them because they're.
Oh, you do vote. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, this is different because it's the primary, but still, even for the primaries, I really did, and I did it on one of my lives. I took the time and I showed people like what I do. And yes, it takes a little bit of time and it can be a little pain in the butt, but I just tried to use Injustice Watch's, feedback. And then, so some of them I didn't vote for, like you said, like I said, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. So I didn't.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. And so Beth, thank you for that comment. We'll close out by saying this. Some candidates should not be reelected. And yes, there are a bunch of folks, and again, it's all subjective opinion. I'll keep my opinion to myself, but let's just be careful about the quality of leadership, because we use that word we use it too generously. I'm just saying. So anyway, look, y'all, was there anything else, Ramona? Anything else, Ryan?
Yes, I did early voting. So it's validated that you only have to give your name and address. And I did want to say this, as far as you're trying to find out more about your candidate, you can go online and look up the candidate and see what you think is, just look them up and see if they represent your interest or what you want to see done in whatever elected department that they're in. So look up the senators, whatever senator you think that will represent you, or any of the candidates on the ballots. Just look them up and see what you can find. So, yeah, then you'll know who you're actually voting for.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So, do that early in. Don't you look now? I don't know. You may not get a full picture, but just make sure you can look these people up online and find out some information.
Yeah. Oh, another good website for that is WTTW. They have a list of candidate statements. I remember I found that, and the Sun Times as well. The Chicago Sun Times has a site where they, try to. I'll tell you, sometimes I get surprised where I'm just like, I want to see their voting record instead. But some of them, if you read the written statements that these people make, they will tell on themselves. Some of them, it's quite surprising where you're like, oh my gosh, they said that. And it might be something you agree with, and it might be something you really don't agree with. So sometimes it's fun to read their written statements.
It is. And it's part of the vetting process. Again, we don't want to just give anybody a free ride because of whatever reason. So let's research our candidates. Good luck tomorrow at the polls, everyone. If anyone has any questions, let us know. Next meeting is going to be April 16th, 2026. Left Connect, we notated, they're activating an app for us. We notated, we'll discuss it. Go on the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee and with any more comments, because you've made a bunch of great comments. Thank you, everyone who participated in the conversation. I'd like to see some more of you folks. There's a couple of folks who were invited who did not show up. Don't do that. Just say, I can't show up, or I'm too shy, or something like that. Just do that for next time, because it's all about community. And you know what I always say, your voice matters. So stand up.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I said, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Ramona ain't shy, is she? Ryan definitely is not. Listen, y'all, thank y'all for what y'all doing. Thank you for committing to the community. I wouldn't have done this first one without it, but remember, next month, the 16th, let's make it happen. All right, Beth, our secret agent, Paul, thank you, Paul Roberts, and everyone who left Connect, everyone who was there, who participated in the conversation. Donna, I saw Donna. No apologies, Diana. I saw you too. So thank y'all. And if y'all have any questions, it's going to be the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee on Facebook. You can also go to Harvey Historical Society on Facebook as well. And what else did I miss? Is that it, y'all?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good for right now.
All right. Good night, y'all. Thank y'all.
Good night. Thanks, Amir.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.